gonna give this a try by popular demand. Uh, hmm, how to make hangers for your pots. We have here clay pot, note with a good rim on it, and plastic pot with shitty rim, soft but nice air holes. Uh, it just depends what you're growing. Some plants do better in plastic, some do better in clay, but that's a topic for another day. We have here the big metal cutter or wire shears. We have a little shears. I have a spool of wire. This is good for plastic pots. And then I have some heavy gauge wire that comes in bundles in the construction department, typically near the concrete. In Home Depot, I don't know where they keep it in other stores, but they're actually in strands that are taped together. It's pretty convenient, but you always end up with a little bit of leftover on the tail end. So let's start with clay pots first. So you want to measure off a piece about like so. And I'm not going to measure it, so I'll let you guys worry about it. And we have the handy dandy shears on my halfway on my leg. And we cut a piece like so. This is probably a little too long, but it really depends on the size of the pot that you're trying to hang. And we have the handy dandy long nose pliers. Okay, so you get somewhere towards the middle. You just assume that this is going to be the base of the triangle, and so you turn it up in an angle because you're making a triangle, and then you move over about yay much and you move it up again. Okay, now you say, what kind of triangle is that? It's not symmetric. For the engineers out there, you're probably thinking, oh, it's not symmetric. That bothers me. But there's a reason why it's not symmetric. You don't need a lot for the hook part, but you do need some amount to go into the pot and push back. This is what actually gives it the clamping action around the rim of the pot. So now just grab a hold and bend just like that on the long side, not the short side, the long side. And realize you can always trim these things after the fact if they're too long. And so you want to squeeze it down so that it goes actually past the plane of the triangle. So this is the clamping action, and then grab it and you move it back to the center like so. And so this is the part that actually clamps up against the pot. This could actually be trimmed a little bit. Let's see if my long nose is strong enough. This is why I have an actual big wire shears instead. So that's about right. And then bend this up so that it's perpendicular thereabouts, and then just make a hook. Depending on what you're hooking it on, you can make the hook bigger or smaller. You don't want this edge to be too short, or it'll knock off the hanger if somebody bumps the pot. Okay, so there, and here's a pot. The wire, the long end, goes inside like so, right? And the perpendicular end catches under the rim. You can see that this particular hanger is good for a considerably bigger pot. This is a 3-inch pot. This could actually work on a 4 or a 5-inch pot, and assuming you're using strong enough wire, you can hold 5-inch pots just fine. This again is Actually, where do they have it? Anyway, they actually, I think it was near the hardware section. Just a spool of wire, much thinner and bendable by hand. Not real good for doing the previous clip because it's not strong enough, but good enough for plastic pots, which weigh almost nothing. And this one you can do all by hand if you want. So just kind of about midstream, not quite, and you just make a U like that. Sorry about the sound effects. Find a drain hole in your plastic pot, like so. So you can see it's just hooked up the drain hole, and you can see I'm using way too much wire on this. That's just part of the video experience. And there you go. So now you say, how am I gonna do this, right? You want that to not fall out, and you need a hook. So there it is. You just bend that around the part sticking up, right, like so. And then typically, and if you want, you can even loop it around more than once just for chuckles because you cut too much wire. But just, you know, you're going to want to trim it so that you don't get stabbed. Here, we'll use a snip. So we'll just snip off. Ugh, make sure I don't step on that, the extra. And then for the part sticking up, you just hook it like so. Same thing. Cut off the excess. And there, you can bend it because it's nice and soft. And you have the instant plastic pot hanger for you paley growers that grow in sphagnum and plastic. So there you go, your Sunday video. Hope that helps you people that are trying to figure out my little hanging scheme. And I am gonna go back to potting plants. All right, bye.